Another major drama has rocked the MotoGP world. An important update about Marc Marquez has just been leaked to the public, sparking wild speculation among fans and observers. At the same time, Johann Zarco has caused a major surprise, not only with his record-breaking victory at the Le Mans GP, but also with his scathing criticism of Ducati. Will this leak change the competitive landscape this season and create new tensions in the Ducati camp? Let's discuss. Le Mans, France. Johann Zarco has finally conquered his own country in the most dramatic and unexpected way. At the age of 34, the veteran rider scored a sensational victory in the 2025 French Grand Prix amid chaotic weather and strategy, an emotional moment that broke the silence of the Le Mans crowd with unstoppable cheers. This was not just a win. This was a living racing fairy tale. Zarko, who rides for the LCR Honda team, was not the favorite. In fact, on the opening lap he crashed into the gravel after a chain reaction in the Dunlop corner and dropped to 17th. But with grit, ingenuity, and a bit of luck from the cloudy French skies, he rose to become the ultimate winner on a day of turmoil. This race not only created a new hero but also shook the foundations of the MotoGP World Championship. Behind Zarko, Marc Marquez, a MotoGP icon and now a mainstay of the Ducati factory, finished second and strengthened his grip at the top of the provisional standings. His closest rivals this season, Alex Marquez and Francesco Bagnaia, were left biting their fingers after both retired from the incident-filled race. The Bugatti circuit at Le Mans was once again the scene of spectacular MotoGP mayhem. The weather there was truly uncompromising. Rain came and went as it pleased, forcing engineers, team crews and riders to gamble with strategies that even supercomputers were reluctant to calculate. Tire selection and pit timing became a complex puzzle that could make or break opportunities on the track. In the early stages of the race, several top riders, including Marc Marquez, were forced to pit early to switch from dry to wet tires. But in the midst of this transition, things turned chaotic. 2 restarts were required due to unpredictable track conditions, and several riders were hit with double long lap penalties for violating grid procedures. Add to that a series of crashes due to lack of grip on the slippery tarmac, and you had a race that was more like a survival race than a battle of speed. Amidst the maelstrom of strategy and drama, Johann Zarco emerged as an unlikely hero. With remarkable composure, he made the right decision from the start, choosing the right tires and refusing to rush into the chaos that engulfed his rivals. While others gambled, he calculated. And by the 8th lap the LCR Honda rider had pulled away, leaving Marquez and the rest of the field chasing their tails. Zarco maintained that lead until the end, managing his tire temperatures and keeping his pace almost perfectly, even as the weather continued to play tricks on the French skies. "I never thought this would happen," said Zarco with tears in his eyes in the Parc Ferme. "In France, in front of my family, my team and the crowd that always supports me, it's like a dream come true. It's magical." Marc Marquez may not have won, but he returned home with a satisfied look on his face. Despite not taking first place, he knew that today was not just about absolute speed, but more about survival and picking up important points. Under pressure, he remained consistent and intelligent, maintaining his position ahead of his rivals. With this result, he is now 22 points ahead of his younger brother Alex Marquez in the provisional standings. Meanwhile, Francesco Bagnaia, who was predicted to be one of the main challengers at the start of the season, has had to rack his brains to find the best way to regain momentum after a series of disappointing results. However, another name that has caught the eye and deserves the spotlight is Fermin Aldeguer. The young Gresini Ducati rider managed to take his first Grand Prix podium, an achievement that marked a turning point in his career. Even more exciting was the fact that this achievement came just one day after he recorded the best result in the sprint race, the best result in the history of his racing career. In the midst of the chaos that ensued, Aldeguer was very consistent and calm, showing that Ducati's young blood is not only about potential, but also the ability to perform at the highest level. With this impressive performance, he proved that there is indeed a bright future for the young riders in the Ducati team. There is a great irony in the final result of this French GP, which created a dramatic moment that will be hard to forget in the history of MotoGP racing. The victory of Johann Zarco, a French rider on a Honda bike, unexpectedly thwarted Ducati's great ambition of breaking the legendary record of 22 consecutive Grand Prix victories, a feat previously held only by Honda, a manufacturer that has dominated the MotoGP stage with unquestionable dominance since the 1990s. Ducati, who have been very strong this season, seem to be on the verge of history, ready to record an achievement that could change the MotoGP landscape. However, their hopes were dashed by the extraordinary performance of Zarko, who rode the Honda bike with aplomb. Zarko's victory certainly has a much deeper meaning, as he managed to stop Ducati's momentum just as they were about to make history. The irony is even greater as the record Ducati were about to break was actually set by Honda, their rival who also have a long history in the world of motorcycle racing. For Ducati, it is not only that they failed to break the record, but also that the record was stopped by a Honda rider at their home race in France. A bitter pill to swallow for the entire Ducati team and the fans who had hoped that this season would be theirs. Now the two manufacturers, Honda and Ducati, will have to share a place in the MotoGP history books. While Ducati will have to wait longer to write their new story, Honda are smiling broadly as their old record still stands. Now looking increasingly difficult to break, the record is set to stand until at least the 2026 season, an achievement that further underlines Honda's dominance in the world of motorcycle racing. Following the conclusion of the French Grand Prix at the Le Mans circuit, the 2025 MotoGP standings have again undergone significant changes. At the top, Lenovo Ducati rider Marc Marquez is consolidating his lead with a total of 171 points. His impressive form since the start of the season has made the 8-time world champion a strong contender for this year's title. In second place, younger brother and teammate Alex Marquez continues to show exceptional consistency. With 149 points, Alex continues to shadow his brother and keep hopes alive for the title. Meanwhile, defending MotoGP champion Francesco Bagnaia had to settle for third place in the standings with 120 points. The Ducati factory team's main rider has suffered a series of technical problems and less than stellar results in recent rounds, leaving him well behind Marc Marquez in the title chase. In addition to Zarko's victory, there was also good news from the 2025 French Grand Prix, which broke the all-time record for the largest attendance at a single MotoGP round, with 311,797 fans in attendance over the weekend at Le Mans. There were 94,757 in the grandstands on Thursday and Friday, while 96,637 turned out on Saturday to watch home hero Fabio Quartararo take pole position. The French Grand Prix has consistently proven itself to be one of the most popular events on the MotoGP calendar, also breaking the record in 2024 with 297,471 fans at the Bugatti circuit. However, that figure has increased by 14,326 fans to once again top the attendance charts. This year, attendances at all races have been high, with the Thai Grand Prix attracting 224,634 fans and the Spanish Grand Prix attracting 224,420. A total of 3 races surpassed the 200,000 mark in 2024, but this year, 4 of the 6 rounds contested have already reached this figure, while the Grand Prix of the Americas did not release its figures until the end of the season. The 2025 French MotoGP will be remembered for more than just the crazy weather and strategy chaos. It was the day when Johann Zarco, the man who had come so close to winning the Premier class so many times, finally stood on the top step of the podium in his home country. He defied the odds, beating a living legend like Marc Marquez, and giving LCR Honda its first win since Cal Crutchlow in 2018. How did Marc Marquez manage to maintain his position in the standings despite failing to win the Le Mans GP? Leave your thoughts below.